Could it be a solution? The jury's out, but it is a new approach to how we deal with California's housing and mental health crisis. And today, Governor Newsom signed into law his proposal to create a mental health branch in our county courts. It is called Care Court. Now, the governor calls it the answer to what you're seeing on the streets in the Bay Area and around the state. Care Court would order treatment for people with severe mental illness, and these are the toughest cases of people who really cannot survive on their own or may be a threat to others. Now, it is a controversial idea. It is raising civil rights questions, but Governor Newsom hopes to help these people before they end up in jail.
The sense of being powerless, not to be able to do it. See the same person over and 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 over again. And you can't do anything about it. And so we're changing that paradigm. This is a new paradigm. This is unprecedented support that we are committing to over the next few years to make this program work. We say this all the time, program passing is not necessarily problem solving. Now the hard work, the implementation, the application of this ideal. And that hard work is realized at the local level.
So how does it work? The new law creates a special civil court to weigh petitions brought by families or other people on behalf of someone diagnosed with a psychiatric disorder. If a person qualifies, they'll get legal help as well as a care plan, which can include everything from housing to medication for up to 2 years. Now, San Francisco is one of 7 counties putting this program in place by October 2023. The state's other 51 counties will follow in 2024. And it is estimated that as many as 12,000 people in California could be candidates for Care Court. And one of those is the son of Anita Wills. She tells our John Ramos forced treatment may be the only option left for their family.
We wanted to do this story because while some are caught up in a theoretical debate about civil rights versus patient care, there are others who are living every day in a hell created by a society that is not being realistic about mental illness. At age 76, Anita Wills should be enjoying life, spoiling her grandbabies. Instead, she's moving out of her San Leandro apartment, afraid that her son Keith will come back and make good on his threats to harm her.
Not knowing where that person, this son of mine is, or what he's doing it's maddening. I mean, I don't know right now where he is or what he's doing.
As a mother, she's torn between loving and fearing her own son. Keith lapsed into mental illness as an adult, began roaming the streets, and ended up in jail accused of attacking people with a knife. The photo of him in the papers was like a knife to Anita's heart.
It feels like hell. When you see a picture of your son saying that he assaulted 4 people, and he's looking in the picture like a crazy man, and it's, my heart sunk.
She says what's most maddening is that no one will do what's needed to help Keith, who's now in his mid-50s. He's been successful in treatment programs before, but because it's all strictly voluntary, Keith simply leaves when his schizophrenia takes over. Anita is part of a mother's group called FOSME, or Families Advocating for the Seriously Mentally Ill. They say the law must change to allow some kind of mandatory treatment, and they've been ardent supporters of Governor Newsom's Care Court initiative.
That feels good, that somebody's cared, that the state is having a conversation about it. Will it work? I don't know. But what we have now is not working.
Anita knows there are those who disagree with compulsory treatment and are concerned about the civil rights of the mentally ill. But her real-world experience tells her that, for many, voluntary treatment will mean no treatment at all.
And then he's walking out the door, and you're thinking that, oh, he could die out there, or he could hurt somebody.
She believes Care Court is an important first step, although all the required treatment facilities and programs don't even exist yet. That could take a whole generation to do.
Yeah, I probably won't see it. But it makes me feel better that it even exists, that they're even having the conversation.
In San Leandro, John Ramos, KPIX 5.
There is some intense criticism of this, and you can expect legal challenges. And right now we're joined by Eric Harris with Disability Rights California, who's been leading the opposition to care courts. And thank you for joining us. The controversial part of this idea is actually forcing people into treatment under a court order. So why do you think that this is really not the right approach?
We do not feel that this is the right approach because this has been an issue for a number of years, and many advocates in the community, including unhoused people, peers with mental health disabilities, have been yelling for more housing, more voluntary services, and more availability to all of these services for individuals who are living on the streets.
Do you think that people who need help the most would actually benefit?
That's a really good question, and it's really difficult to say. Based on the work that we've done in this space, we don't think that this is the best option. We think that a lot of the people who are living on the streets, who do have mental health disabilities, are going to be disproportionately harmed, unfortunately, because it'll be very difficult to track these individuals. It'll be very difficult to make sure that we get a proper diagnosis for these individuals. And there will just be a lot of avenues and hurdles.
All right, we thank Eric for that interview. Now, he says it's a complex issue, but he does say the #1 priority needs to be finding housing and putting more resources into voluntary treatment for mental health. As for the care courts, a lot of logistics to work out, but the governor has set aside $63 million to help local governments and courts implement this. He has also touted more than $14 million geared toward the state's homeless crisis. We will certainly stay on top of all of this and how it plays out.